The movie begins with Mary, a surgical student, practicing sutures on a turkey. She is struggling with her student loans, which gets her in trouble in her class with Dr. Grant because she is distracted by the calls from the bank. But he lets her off easy because he sees great potential in her. When she returns home, she finds her phone is disconnected because she didn't pay the bills on time. To de-stress, she likes to talk to her Nana, and while Nana catches her up with the latest drama, Mary looks through classifieds and finds an adult job that pays lucratively. She thinks, why not? So she writes to them, showing her interest in the position, and is soon called for an interview. It turns out that she applied to a strip club that is hiring and meets the owner of the club, Billy Barker. Billy makes her take off her coat and reveals her undergarments, which seem to be too fancy for someone who's broke. And after assessing her body, he asks her to give him a massage. Mary has just started giving him a massage when one of the bouncers comes running to Billy and states it is an emergency. Billy leaves immediately and rushes back, panicking. He read that Mary is a medical student, and they desperately need a professional to stitch up a profusely bleeding man in the basement. Probably a case of practicing medicine without a license, but why not? Mary agrees to do it. Billy offers $5,000 to perform the emergency surgery on the guy as they want him alive. After she wraps up and takes the money, she rushes back home, terrified that she has involved herself in something terrible. The fear that someone might come after her keeps Mary awake all night. The next morning, she gets a call from an unknown number. The caller introduces herself as Beatrice Johnson, but Mary is not ready to talk to anyone, and after saying she called the wrong number, Mary hangs up. After some time, Mary's intercom buzzes, and a woman says she has a package for her and needs her signature. Mary buzzes her in without thinking much of it, but when she finds her door open, she picks up the baseball bat, ready to attack whoever snuck in. And it is Beatrice, a woman who had extreme plastic surgery to look like Betty Boop. Her body, though, look at those guns. She gives Mary $200 just to listen to her and tells her that she wants to help a friend and offers Mary $10,000 in cash to perform surgery on her friend Ruby at a veterinary clinic. Beatrice throws an extra $2,000 for Mary to show up, and Mary probably thinks, why not? Mary visits the clinic after closing hours and meets Ruby, who has had many procedures to look like a doll that had too many Botox shots. With only one step left for her to become the ideal version of herself, Ruby explains that she wants her milkies and lady bits removed. This could probably have been done in a more legal way, and it would have been safer, but why not? Once Mary is done with the surgery, she gives Beatrice tips on post-operative care for Ruby and asks her not to give her number to any more friends. Beatrice thanks Mary and asks her what Ruby should call her when she updates about the procedure on her website, and Mary just asks her to make something up. As soon as Mary reaches home, she throws up because it is her first time performing such a very unconventional surgery. Mary soon begins her surgical residency under her mentor, Dr. Walsh, who, like most other professors at the med school, is already impressed by her promising skills. One day, Dr. Walsh invites Mary to a party at Dr. Grant's home that will be attended by all the surgeons. Thinking it would be a great opportunity to create a network, she goes, why not? She gets ready for the party a little early, and to pass the time, she decides to check out Ruby's website. She soon gets introduced to a world of extreme body modifications, which scares her, and she immediately closes her laptop. She arrives at the party, but it is nothing like one could have imagined. The men play out their carnal fantasies on the women present, who turn out to be escorts. Mary notices she is the only young resident invited. She is served a drink by Dr. Black and joined by Dr. Grant later. Suddenly, she starts feeling dizzy, and Dr. Grant helps her to his bedroom, where he does the unthinkable on her, after recording her. The following day, she wakes up after the drugs wear off and sees Dr. Grant sleeping next to her. Mary's world isn't the same anymore, and she drops out of residency. Filled with hatred, Mary seeks vengeance by hiring Billy to kidnap Dr. Grant. Billy and his bouncer deliver Dr. Grant to her apartment, which she has converted into her practice place. Dr. Grant lies strapped, and Mary makes him her practice doll for the popular body modifications she has enlisted for her portfolio, as she has decided to pursue body modification surgery full-time. After administering local anesthesia to Dr. Grant, she performs various surgeries on him, from tongue splitting to limb amputation. Mary then uploads the pictures of Dr. Grant's surgery and quickly gains popularity through the dark web. She comes to be known as Bloody Mary, a surgeon with exceptional skills, willing to perform any extreme surgery that would make one look closer to their desired look. Mary has made her apartment the consultation office, and after checking on some patients, she leaves her apartment for some work. Outside, she is approached by police detective Dolor, who is investigating the disappearance of Dr. Grant. He explains he got her reference from Dr. Walsh, who gave the police a list of girls who might have a reason to hold a grudge against him. Mary acts innocent and denies knowing anything about the disappearance. She says she lost contact with Dr. Walsh after she left med school. Later, Mary goes to meet Billy at his bar. Billy, who has developed feelings for Mary and is imagining her performing an exotic dance for him, is suddenly brought back to reality when she appears before him. He calms his senses and organ and asks if Mary has come to see him, but Mary says she has come to see Beatrice, who is performing naked for the customers. While Beatrice finishes her sultry Betty Boop performance, Mary talks to Billy and shares that she is mad at Dr. Walsh for giving her name to the detective. Billy immediately feels enraged and asks if he should take care of Dr. Walsh, but Mary refuses. She soon leaves with Beatrice, and Beatrice takes her to Ruby's apartment, where Mary finds that Ruby is married. Beatrice hands Mary a card and tells her that the owners of the largest body modification website want Mary to work for them after they saw her work on Ruby. Mary's popularity is reaching new peaks, which lands her with another challenging job involving twin sisters who want to stay connected to each other. So they ask their left arms to be switched and their appearance modified to resemble a devil. They will no longer get asked if they're horny. A few days later, Mary goes to a warehouse where she keeps Dr. Grant, who is now missing all his limbs. His mouth is stitched shut, his genitals are missing, and Mary plans to cut off his ears too. She has him hanging on hooks, pierced through the skin on his back, and as she is taking his pictures for her website, she is found by a guard who tries to release Dr. Grant, but Mary bludgeons him to death. Meanwhile, Billy is beating up Dr. Walsh for snitching on Mary and tortures him to death. After the twins' successful transformation, Mary shifts from her old apartment and moves to a bigger place, a part of which she converts into a studio for the photo shoots of her clients for her portfolio. She is with one of her patients when she gets a call from Detective Dolor, who asks if he can come by her place. Mary agrees and conceals her hidden clinic before Detective Dolor comes. He tells her that Dr. Walsh is missing too, and it has come to their knowledge that Dr. Grant and Dr. Walsh used to hold orgies, and the girls involved were drugged and videotaped. Detective Dolor believes Mary was one of their victims. However, he doesn't have her tape because Billy took it from Dr. Walsh's possession. Detective Dolor assures her that he is there to help her. After he leaves, Mary calls her Nana, whose call she missed, but finds that her Nana has passed away. Mary is left emotionally distraught, which greatly affects her mental health. She goes to meet Billy, hoping to ask if he's involved in Dr. Walsh's disappearance, but when she arrives, she finds Billy, whose flute is being tuned by one of the strippers, which fills her with jealousy, and later in the bathroom, Mary attacks the girls with her surgical tools, only to stop when she spots a camera there. She decides to let the woman go. Billy's fantasies about Mary are becoming more violent as he fantasizes about her stabbing him instead of the other way around. But that doesn't stop him from inviting her to LA with him. Mary says she'll think about it and leaves. In the meantime, Ruby's husband has returned from a very long trip, but when he sees Ruby's latest surgery, he loses his mind. To seek vengeance, he tortures Beatrice nearly to death to get information about Mary. As Mary returns home, she is ambushed by Ruby's husband in her apartment. He stabs her in the gut, but Mary fights back and bites his ear off, and they both fall onto the ground. Mary drags herself to her hidden clinic and attempts to suture her wound, but ultimately bleeds to death. When the police arrive, they find the man who stabbed her lying unconscious. They also find the records of all the illegal surgeries she has performed, one of which is Dr. Grant's, which shocks anyone who sees it. Mary lies in the middle of her apartment in a pool of blood, staring eternally into oblivion. One who could have become a great surgeon with a bright future ahead became a victim of a man's lechery that drove her to her end. Damn those student loans. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.